So we're going to go through a little bit of your roster, but two guys I
Sure.
want to go into are guys that you brought over with you from VCU, and that's Nick, that's Ace. When you talk about those two guys, being able to bring two guys that know you well, that you know them well, that you learn to trust, that you've coached for a couple years now, how big and how important was it for you to be able to get those type of guys that know the foundation, that go into the locker room as players and know the philosophy, the game plan, know how you roll? How big was it for you to be able to bring a couple of the guys with you from VCU?
I think it's huge. And look, when the players, the relationships I had with this past year's team and winning a championship with them at VCU and winning the A10 regular season and tournament championship, like we just had a special group. We were so close with those guys. Our staff was. We still are to this day.
Mm-hmm.
The neat thing about that group is they all had their own personalities, but we knew how to play together as one and just took off as the season went on. It was a complete honor for me to be their head coach, and our
Mm-hmm.
relationships will last forever. I couldn't bring them all with me, but I brought two guys with me, and Ace and Nick, that I just I love coaching those guys. Ace was player of the year and defensive player of the year in the A10.
Yep.
He's one of the best point guards in the country. He's super competitive. He makes our team tougher. He makes his teammates tougher and have an edge. And he's a really good basketball player. Nick Kern is, a guy that just he's all about. He's the greatest example for me to show our guys here is here's how you develop yourself as a young man, as a player,
Mm-hmm.
to make such an impact in winning. We put him in the lineup about 12 games in last year, and we take off. And it's because winning was more important to him than anything else, than individual stats or anything. He's the culture guy. He's the guy that guarded the other team's best player, got big rebounds, toughness plays, and then got better and better with his overall game. So those two guys are great examples of how we do things in our program, in our family. But also, I think you build relationships beyond basketball. That's probably one reason why those guys came with us. They could have went anywhere in the country,
Yeah.
like some of the other guys have from VCU, and they're all special guys. We're fortunate to have Ace and Nick, and they can help our guys understand that, hey, this is how Coach Rhoades does things. This is how we play defense. This is how we get ready for practice. All that stuff. I still want them to be themselves and the best individuals they can be, but they can sure help all the new guys who are under their first year with me understand that, hey, there's a process to all this, and this is how it's going to go about.
Some of the other guys you brought in, now there's a lot of them because you had to come in, you filled up 10 roster spots. You have a few guys that I've known from Arizona times. DeMarco Dunn spent time out here in Arizona for a little bit, Puff Johnson as well. They both come over as guys that have been rotation players on a decent North Carolina team, a championship team the year before that. They come on over with you. Ray Quandis, who's a big time player, Quandis, Zach Hicks, the list goes on, and just all these guys you got to fill this roster out with. And you got to see them now a little bit. You guys had the foreign tour out there to the Bahamas. What's your feel for this overall team and how they're coming together so far?
I honestly, better than I would have imagined,
Mm-hmm.
bringing 10 guys in like 60 days. I think we had 14 official visits in like 60 days.
Mm.
It was the craziest 2.5, 3 months in my coaching career, but I loved every day of it because you just attacked the day and you went after these players that you wanted. The one thing we made sure was we weren't just going to fill up a roster. We were finding guys that number one wanted to be with us and be at Penn State. We wanted to
Mm.
find guys that fit our style of play and have balance. We didn't want to get 9 grad transfers to go through this again. We wanted to have guys that also were going to be here and develop with us. It's very important to me that we sweat as a coaching staff. We sweat with our players. We put the deposits in, as I say, with the players on player development. Well, if you get a guy that's only here 1 or 2 years or just 1 year, that's really hard. Uh,
Yeah.
Not that it can still work for sure, but I wanted to make sure that we built this culture and this foundation and the start of my career here at Penn State with guys understanding that there's a development piece to it. So, DeMarco Dunn, I recruited really hard to VCU. Puff Johnson, I recruited his brother Cam the Rice really hard. They came for an official visit. I tried to recruit Puff before he blew up in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Their prior relationships, you know, Leo O'Boyle, who played at Lafayette, had a great career there. He's a co-region kid from Pennsylvania that Coach Jimmy Martelli and I knew. Like, there's a lot of that, and we just want to make sure we found great fits first before we just took guys. And I'm really proud of our staff. We got the guys we wanted. We filled needs for sure, but we just didn't. It wasn't a quick fix to us. And I think we passed on some guys that other people didn't pass on because we wanted to make sure they were the right fits and blend it with the rest of the guys we had. And that's really important to me. If we're going to build this, we're going to build this for the long term. Build it to last is a term I've always used. Now we want to win right away, but man, let's build it to last with the right people on board and the right pieces.